Welcome to the 359. I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
I'm Alfred Ng.
Okay, so today is finally Prime Day. If you are an Amazon Prime member and feel like spending even more money with the e-commerce giant, today is your day. As in past years, Amazon is using the big sales day to promote its own devices and products, offering discounts on Echo and Fire devices, plus its growing list of clothing and home decor brands. Alfred, are you excited?
I actually have a list going on of what I want to buy, and I'm not sharing it for security purposes. But yeah, like last week I had all this stuff that like I was going to buy, and then because I needed it sooner rather than later, and then I just thought, you know what, I can wait a week for this, like in case like.
Now, hopefully not toilet paper, but yeah, I get it.
You can wait a week for all right, so.
Obviously, people are probably interested in some of the deals, so I want to run through a couple of them. So, for instance, the Fire TV Stick with the Alexa voice remote is going for $20. The Echo Spot going for $100. That's a $30 savings. The new second generation Echo is for $70. Now, granted, if you're not if you don't want to pull the trigger on these specific deals right now, these same deals are probably going to arrive in Black Friday, Cyber Monday as well. So if you're not in the shopping mood.
Yeah, honestly, I never look at the Amazon products as a real deal just because it's like they control the prices on these and they can go down to these prices anytime that Amazon chooses to, which it usually does. Like sometimes there'll be a random weekend where it's like, oh, the Kindle's like $40 off today, by the way.
Yes.
So those aren't really the deals that I would be excited about with Prime Day content.
Wait, so what kind of stuff are you excited about?
I mean, it's all random. I can never really tell when it's not Amazon products. Like it's a given that Amazon products are going to be on sale. But last year I got a cat tree that was like $90 retail, and I got it for $40. It's like the unexpected things that I know won't be this price again for a while.
Also wanted to mention there are other retailers jumping into the fray because July tends to be a pretty quiet period for retail. So Target, Walmart, and eBay are also offering deals today. So if you are shopping around online, definitely do some comparison shopping.
Amazon has basically forced other companies into making deals on Prime Day as well?
Yes. Yeah. And there's a lot more traffic and interest going on. So it benefits them to a certain extent too. Also, Alfred, you looked into how Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are working to kill fake bot accounts on their networks. Tell me a little bit more about this, especially what Facebook is doing.
Yeah, so this was a deep dive into artificial intelligence that I was just generally curious about on my own after watching all these tech CEOs basically talking about, oh, we have all these problems that we're dealing with using artificial intelligence, and then that was it. And then it just got me thinking, what artificial intelligence, how does this actually work? So in one example with Facebook, they had been working with a company based in Israel called Unbotify, where it uses biometrics, but behavioral biometrics. So think about how you tap your phone, the angle that you hold your phone at, and where you touch your screen when you're swiping around and things like that.
It could also sense breathing too. It senses the small motions in the gyroscope.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Yeah, it uses your gyroscope. So it's not oh, this guy's breathing. It basically, when you hold your phone, obviously you are breathing, so it moves up and down. So they use that as oh, this is a human. This isn't a bot, because it's taking subtle movements like that and using that to tell this is a human versus this is a bot.
So related to behavioral biometrics, how easy do you think it would be for fakers, counterfeiters, what have you, to actually start to catch up and provide ways of gaming that?
I think you'd have to be really sophisticated. I mean, obviously there's GPS spoofing where you can tell your phone you're in one location when you're not really. So I don't think we're far off from gaming the accelerometer and gaming the gyroscope, but then it's up to these bot makers to figure out, how a human moves. So they would basically have to do the job of these AI companies as well, figuring out the angle to game the device at and things like that.
Yeah, the cat and mouse game continues. If you want to read more about these stories, check us out on CNET. I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
I'm Alfred Ng.
Thanks for listening.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us. Hey, where's my mic? Hey, I fixed it. Sorry about the audio problems. I'm out of practice. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. As always, time to jump into the chat and pull out questions and comments. reigning question that's going to be overarching throughout the rest of the show will be, what are you guys looking for on Prime Day? Is there anything that's got you excited? Do you think Amazon's going to finally step up their game and not make it like a garage sale? In the
First of all,
meantime...
that would be an improvement if it were a garage sale. Garage sales rule, and they're stupid cheap at garage sales.
Ouch.
Look, if you want a Roomba, you should probably buy one today. They usually sell a dumb amount of Roombas today, and they are very deeply discounted. So I have seen the Roomba deal happen at least 2 years in a row. They also have TV deals, but you know, they haven't specifically mentioned like what brands are available. So they're mentioning, for instance, this was info that was released overnight. Premium brand 49-inch 4K smart TV for only $438. We're gonna find out later today what that actually is. So there are deals out there if you're interested, and Amazon goes out of their way to say, look, there are going to be about 1 million deals, and you know, you might think it's junk, but it's someone else's treasure, and that's why we're offering so many different things.
I think if I were a competitor, I would go the complete opposite way of Prime Day, and I would make it like Rich People Day or something like that, where the prices are actually jacked all the way up, and then to stunt on your friends and like show them how much money you have, like buy stuff that's at above the regular price. You can steal my idea if you want, Walmart.
That's a pretty good idea. What do you think of that one, Brian?
There was an app that was like that, and like Apple took it off the App Store. It was like $1,000 or something, and it did nothing.
Oh yeah, for a red ruby.
Yeah,
I remember
it
that
did
one.
nothing. But like the idea was like you buy it to like show off, like, oh, this is how much I spend on like apps. So
I think that app actually got kicked off because it had so little value. But either way, to answer your question, Brian, I am interested in getting a new TV, so I am going to look around for that. But it's sometimes the brands aren't exactly what you're looking for on Prime Day because they are a little bit more on the bargain side. So definitely do your homework before buying stuff, I would say.
Has Prime Day ever done games in the past? Because I would love it if I could like build out my Switch library.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
There was a deal going on today for I think it was only bundles with the Nintendo Switch though. Like you could get it with Mario Tennis or another game. Then I think it was Super Mario Odyssey, but the name is escaping me currently.
Yeah, there's they like teased out some information without like the full deal. So there is a Nintendo Switch gaming bundle for $300 that's going to be available. Yeah, the problem is, and I understand people's kind of like displeasure about it is that some of the super popular stuff, the really interesting stuff, sometimes just doesn't get discounted, you know, like premium brands or the most popular games. The reason for that is that those companies realize that you're going to pay top dollar for that stuff anyway. They're the most high in demand. So they don't necessarily need to discount it. And you might end up buying it today anyway, just because you're shopping online.
Let's take some questions. Actually, we have a few people chiming in with their look for deals. Pamela's looking for a good surround sound system. I say your likelihood is pretty good on that today. Priority 1 is looking for RAM. Raphael wants to know, why does Amazon do Prime Day?
Okay.
Clear out the warehouse.
That one I have. Yeah. Clear out the warehouse idea is definitely one that I've heard a lot of, and there's probably a little bit definitely to that. The other reason is that July tends to be a really quiet month, and the summer in general tends to be a pretty quiet month. People go on vacation, they're saving up money for the holidays.
There's no reason to buy gifts during July.
Right.
Yeah.
And Amazon manages to get people to shop more by like providing more like home essential stuff. It's not as much like, yeah, you'll see the TVs and the electronics, but they also offer discounts on just like giant tubs of petroleum jelly and like other just random stuff to like restock your pantry.
That is very much a home essential.
It is.
Everyone knows that.
It is a home essential. So that's the primary reason why they do it, and it's been really successful for them. They broke their single day sales record 2 years running. On Prime Day, which is pretty surprising. It's impressive to the fact that you have to be a Prime member to shop on Prime Day to begin with. So it is a limited set of people. It's not offered to everybody.
Don't you have to take the sales numbers with like a grain of salt though, because Amazon usually doesn't disclose their sales numbers like regularly?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, Amazon is growing really quickly, so they tend to repeatedly break their
Yeah.
single-day sales record. So it always sounds really great that like, oh, we broke the record again. But the other thing too is that Prime Day this year is 36 hours. So I expect them to say that they broke their single-day sales record, but Prime Day this year is not a single
day, yeah.
So if they don't break the record, that would be really weird. But it will be with an asterisk this year.
Strinjoy says, Ring Video Doorbell Pro is down to 175, boys. Convince me.
I'm not going to do that. I don't think you should get a smart doorbell or home system. So
I've spoken with the CEO of Ring a couple times, and his big pitch is that this is something that actually can reduce crime in a neighborhood. And the more Alfred is very aggressively rolling his eyes, but anyway, that is their pitch, where they think that video doorbells, and they did do a pilot program to try to prove this, they think that video doorbells are a very useful security measure. And if you are hesitant or uncomfortable about the idea of security cameras in your home, in this case, it's a security camera that's pointing outside your door. So it's a little bit easier for people to deal with. Anyway, that's Ring's pitch if you are interested. The thing is that it's a video doorbell, so it's expensive. And, if you've got $170 burning a hole in your pocket, sure. But I think a lot of people probably don't have that kind of money to spend on a doorbell.
yeah, get a dog. They're cooler and they can't be hacked.
Nice. Well, unless you have sausages.
Dogs rule.
What about the Sony Aibo? Is that what it's called?
What the hell is that?
That's the
There's a little
Sony
pup.
dog.
Oh, the
Robopup?
Sony dog.
You can hack that dog, I suppose. So yeah.
0 out of 10.
Yeah.
Apex looking for a router. Datcher's looking for a router as well. What
I'm
else
gonna
we got?
plug. So at this point, I'm gonna plug our own website. They're like the reviews and like Cheapskate team put together like a ton of content to try to like round out all the different deals. So if you do want to go on CNET, and like they've just tried to like consolidate all this information. So if you are looking for things specifically, this is my shameless plug, and I just did that.
Well, that's good because Screwtape is looking for good speakers. Looks like we've got some headphones and wireless Bluetooth speakers listed up here yet. If you're looking for home stereo, I'm not sure where those might be hidden in the list because it is a massive list and probably ever growing. But we'll do our best, and I'll make sure to put the these links in the description down below in the show notes so everybody can find where they're going.
Is it CNET.com?
It might be.
Okay, I just wanted to double check.
CNET.com.
.edu.
No, not CNET.edu. Now I'm curious, so I'm going to check where CNET.edu takes you.
Here's a fun question from Bombs a Bomb. If you bought something before Prime Day and after you bought it, it gets discontinued, discounted, would you still be able to get that discount?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, but there is, if you got it within like, I think it's a 30 or 60 day window, this is probably frowned upon, but what you could do is just buy it again on Prime Day and then return the old one. So you probably need a little bit of extra money because, like, let's say you bought it for $300 the first time and $200 the second time. You have to wait for the return to go through. But people that I know have done that in the past.
Is that a people that I know? Is that just you and you're like,
no, of course
my
not.
friend did this.
My friend has done this before. But anyway, if it does seem like a really good deal, you can try to call customer service and get the discount. But if they don't do that, that is a method that has been used by people.
Okay.
Here's another fun one coming in from Priority 1. Hey guys, if you had $100, what would you buy on Prime?
Ooh, that's a good question.
First of all, I don't have $100.
No.
I don't even have $100 in my bank account right now.
You don't have $100 in your bank account?
Are we talking? Are we talking
$100.
about like specifically Prime Day stuff, or like just Amazon in general?
Let's stick it to Prime Day. Let's stay on theme.
Oh man, I wish I had a good answer to that. I've got to spend like $1,000 replacing my water heater. That is so not interesting. That's like a real homeowner pile of crap right there.
I don't think you're gonna do that on Prime Day.
I'm not doing it on
Prime
Prime Day,
like
and I'm
major
buying
appliances
it,
like that.
I'm buying it from Lowe's. So
Lowe's Day.
Lowe's Day. Get your water heater with a free pamphlet.
I'd probably spend it on Amazon like gift card, like $100 gift card, and probably give it away to a good friend of mine because I'm very wholesome and cool.
Give me a break. That's horrible.
I'm sorry, Mr. Selfish Man over here wants to get a water heater for himself while
Right.
I am altruistic and give to the world. Okay.
I have to think. I have to think about what I guess if I had $100, like I would probably get a bunch of toys for my kids, even though they have a bunch of toys already. So whatever. That's vaguely altruistic.
I'd probably
right?
spend it on a Prime membership for a year.
Yeah, right.
That's not a bad idea, to be honest. Here's a question from APEC. Do you find that the more you look at an item on Amazon, the more the price seems to go up? Also, does Prime Day prices increase right before the discount is applied? He's wondering if they're playing games with us and like if that discount is really real.
So people have definitely had skepticism about that, and some of the Prime Day deals in years past have been like really, really tiny, where it was like $1 or $5, especially on like more expensive items. I think Amazon's trying to do a little bit better to not have those embarrassing, like this isn't really a deal type of situation. The questioner,
Do they jack up the prices before so that like when it's a 50% discount, like
So
it's
the
really
discount's
what's its original
bogus.
price?
Yeah, exactly.
Because stores
technically
do that.
they're not
Stores
technically
for
they're
sure
not
do
supposed
that.
to do that. They're supposed to like, and I definitely know, like specifically, like I know what the regular prices for the Amazon devices. So the Amazon devices are discounted from what you would regularly have them on any given day. But what was either way, they do something called dynamic pricing, where they will constantly change the price, identifying a variety of different things that they notice online, including what other retailers are pricing a certain item at, how much traffic that specific page is getting. So if you are seeing items go up, usually they're supposed to fluctuate. They're not supposed to just go up, but they're always trying to like test out exactly how much to charge people. So it's what you could do is also go on camel.com to see the historical price changes, so you can get a better idea as to whether the price is a good one or not, because the price does tend to change quite a bit on Amazon.
Just about out of time, so maybe we switch gears real quick before we call it a day. Matthew Datcher's asking, how does the group feel about Elon Musk's recent incendiary comments?
Great question.
Going on to say, what should we do when CEOs of companies we want to like are problematic?
Yeah, we were talking about this before the podcast, and it was definitely a surprising comment. And we were wondering if it even fits under libel, where this guy could sue. So
let's reiterate for those who may be not in the know, like myself. What did Musk do?
Do you want to explain this one?
All right. I have been relishing this story. So if you missed out, on Sunday, there was a video from CNN where they had interviewed one of the British divers in Thailand who had discovered that the kids were stuck
Soccer
in that
team.
cave.
Yeah.
And, he was the one who had alerted, the British Navy and like helped with the Thai government on like how to get there, how to rescue the kids who were saved about 5 days ago. Now, if you recall, Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX and other companies, also wanted to pitch in and help. And he did so by sending a submarine that was never used. And in this video, the British diver talks about how that submarine was completely useless and how Mr. Musk, going there and dropping off the submarine that was never used was essentially a PR stunt. He specifically said that. So Elon Musk responds on Twitter, basically in a fit of rage, arguing, you know what, that submarine would have worked, okay? And then at one point he says, "Sorry, pedo guy, you really asked for this."
Specifically about the British diver.
Yeah, essentially insinuating that the British diver was a pedophile. Prior to that tweet and calling the guy a pedophile, though, he also had written, "I have never seen this British diver who happens to be living in Thailand," and then in parentheses he writes "sus," which is
As in suspicious. He says sus about a lot of things.
Yeah, so he basically called this man a pedophile without any backup or claim. And then he deleted the tweet he deleted all
did
his he deleted all his tweets
I
a
did
few hours
not
later.
realize those were up for a couple hours.
Yeah,
actually.
they were. I thought he was going to leave them up, but I guess better judgment got to him. But the idea is, this is a tech CEO and billionaire with a lot of influence and power calling a guy a pedophile because he said that his submarine was useless, which is a fact.
How is that even related, though? Does Musk have a history of these kind of like off the cuff fits of rage? Does he?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
He does it. He does it against reporters for stories that he doesn't like. He tends to be very fast and loose on Twitter. So, and I think Datcher was asking about
what you should do about tech CEOs
yeah,
that
like
are problematic.
what we should do about it.
And the word boycott gets thrown around a lot.
Look, the argument is that does it matter what Elon Musk does on his free time? Complaining about people on Twitter. If you like having a Tesla car. And is it valuable to you to just have that and kind of disassociate it from the CEO? That's an interesting philosophical argument. I'm not really sure. And I think, especially with this last situation, he is not making it super easy for people that may be on the fence to like him. The people that do like him were already defending him, right?
Here's the thing. I think it's very easy to idolize somebody like him. And I think that, he does have a lot of his fans. My argument for anything has always been you shouldn't idolize anybody or anything just because they're human and they have flaws and they have mistakes. And to stand by somebody for so long after being problematic like this, I'm sure you have your reasons, but I think it's problematic to always put somebody on a pedestal like that. It's oh well, he called him a pedophile because he did this and this. And it's just people he's clearly wrong for it, and I don't know how that affects your view of him, but at the same time, I think that there really shouldn't be this sort of worship of any tech CEO for that matter. It doesn't matter.
Aside, anybody.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how smart or talented somebody is.
Right. Well, and unfortunately, we in the media have a lot to do with really building, bolstering, and doing that deification and hero worship. I mean, we saw that with Theranos' CEO, who ended up being a complete fraud. So, but either way, I was definitely glad you mentioned that, Datcher, and it was something that we were certainly considering mentioning on the show. So I'm glad we had
talk about it.
Well, we did talk about it. So, and it's definitely an interesting conversation that I think will absolutely continue. And there's a possibility that there could be a lawsuit stemming from this. And so we'll keep an eye on it.
That's disappointing. You want to like somebody like that. Like you said, the whole worship thing is going a little far. But in my casual observation, it's just oh, he's a techie guy. He likes science. He promotes education, et cetera, et cetera. I'm on board. And then you find out he's a rage monster and a complete dickbag. So what are you going to do?
That's your problem. You wanted to like somebody. You should never want to like anything.
That's a good philosophy to live by, Alfred.
Yeah, I learn a lot from you. It's going to take me at least a few more years to become that cynical.
Having friends is overrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you've learned anything about the 359, that's the big takeaway.
Enemies. Now that's where the real.
That's where the rubber meets the road.
Okay, right before we take off, let's take one more question about Prime Day. Maybe not so much Prime Day, but just Amazon shopping in general. This is a good question from Hector Sanchez. Does anyone know if you can use your Prime account for different countries? I have mine in Mexico, and I want to get on board with the Amazon US storefront.
I don't know. That's a good question, and I'm not entirely sure. So
let's research that. That might be a good topic to come back to someday, is how Amazon functions internationally and how it affects consumers in different countries.
Yeah, it does tend to it depends on different countries, and Amazon does tend to roll out its services in different countries in different ways. For instance, I know Canadian shoppers had to shop through the US website for a while until the Canadian website was a little bit stronger. So
what did that really mean? Just a pain in the butt with conversions?
HQ2 is coming to Toronto.
Yeah, that's basically it. No, I think and I don't know enough about this to really talk too much about it, but I think it's you would have to get a lot of things shipped to you just over the border and then pick them up. So if you
that's
lived,
gross.
yeah, it was a little strange. But now you don't have to do that as much because they expanded out their Canadian operations and their fulfillment. So
So it sounds like in large, that's probably the way it's going to apply in any situation in any nation that's not the U.S. store.
yeah, the best as I can remember, usually like the inventory is specific to your country. And if it isn't, then you might have to pay more for international shipping. That's my best guess at this point, but I do apologize that I don't know that information offhand.
You know a lot of information, Ben. We'll forgive you. We'll find
Okay.
out more, though, for sure. That's a great question. We'll have to look into that. But on that note, we are out of time. It's been fantastic to be back. Regular schedule resumes. We'll be back tomorrow. You guys got any closing thoughts?
Yo, what does that posted on your laptop say?
Oh, it's a list of equipment that I need to purchase for the studio. It's not all that interesting.
For like Prime Day? Are you buying that?
I'm not buying it on Prime Day. It's not even exciting stuff. It's like hardware and cabling. So otherwise, I'd share.
Yeah. All right, cool. Why don't you do it? I always end up doing it.
All right, sure. If you liked what you heard today, check us out on CNET.com. The podcast is also available on TuneIn, Stitcher, not SoundCloud, iTunes, FeedBurner, Google Play Music, Google Podcast, the Amazon Echo, and I already said this, but it's I'm just going to plug it again, CNET.com. You can also join our conversation on weekday mornings on Twitch.tv, Periscope, which is on Twitter, and YouTube, which I assume the majority of you are on. So thanks for joining us.
Great job.
Yes.
We're proud
That
of
was
you.
really good.
All right, bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.
See ya. I didn't even need